So, we are talking about developing a strong, positive mental attitude. Why? Because you cannot become a success in life without having the right attitude. Your attitude will determine the things that get attracted to you. Your attitude will determine the things that you accomplish in life. Your attitude will determine your relationships. Your attitude will determine the opportunities that come your way. So, but today, we want to look at the next step because we started out by saying that the first thing you needed to do was to understand that the outcomes of your life is determined by you, meaning that you and I need to take full responsibility for our lives. And then the next thing we have to do is identify clearly. Yesterday we talked about this, what your life's purpose is. Why are you here on earth? But today we want to take it one step further. So let's just assume that you've identified what it is that you want to your life is all about. You've identified your life's purpose, your life's meaning. So now the question is, what is the outcome that you want to see? What is the picture of the future that you desire? You see, one of the reasons why many people do not achieve their goals in life is because they have believed a lie. Let me give you an example of what I'm saying. You remember growing up as a child, it doesn't matter what family environment you were raised up in, and it doesn't matter. Children are dreamers. Children believe that they can accomplish anything. You see, growing up as a child, you wanted to be an astronaut, you wanted to be a pilot, you wanted to be the president of your country. You talked about wanting to be a doctor and all of that stuff. You had these dreams that you could articulate and speak about. But as you began to grow, life began to cut off your choices, or life began to tell you that you cannot be. So that is when you begin to hear that, oh, no, 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 you cannot do this, you cannot do that, you cannot go there, you cannot connect with this. Why? Because the failures or the inadequacies of other people are now being placed upon you in order to short circuit your own dreams. But if you had the opportunity to go back to your childhood, or if you have the opportunity to go back to when you were growing up, the question is, what is it that you wanted to become? What is it that you wanted? What was your dream? You see, those dreams have not died. The seeds were only just shut in inside of you because life has taught you that certain things aren't possible in your life. But you see, the principles that brought those seeds to bear at a very young age are still inside of you. So, my question to you is this: what is it that you want? What is it that you desire? You see, too often people think that life has given them a low hand. The truth of the matter is that who you are today is exactly the picture of whom you desire in your heart or you have agreed to. If you cannot see a picture of something that is flourishing, something that is full, something that is bountiful, if you cannot see a picture of that future that you dream about, then you will not be able to create a roadmap from where you are to where you need to get to. Now, let me break this down even further. uh, in life, life is not a product of accidents. Life in itself is a product of the dreams and the desires that you have incubated in your heart. The things that you think about all the time, the pictures that you create, the thoughts that you dwell upon. You see, the more you begin to do that, it's only a matter of time. Your mind begins to believe those things, and your heart and your mind and your thoughts begin to create roadmaps that would help you from where you are to where you need to go to. But if you keep yourself out and you keep waiting for things to happen, then it simply means that you will not get to your destination. There's an example that I saw for a long time that really blessed me, and I've thought about this. If you wanted to get to a destination, let's just say you want to go to Las Vegas. Okay, let's say you live wherever you live, anywhere in the world, you want to fly to Las Vegas. You see, you have to get a ticket, or you have to go to the airport and say, hey, I'm trying to get to Las Vegas, meaning that you made a decision based on something that you desire, And then you now paid the price, and folks who have the tools, the connection, the equipment, or whatever it is that is necessary to get you from point A to Z will now get you there. But without you, first of all, making it clear that you want to go to Vegas, then it is not possible. You will end up dying where you are. The one thing that drives you, the one thing that creates a roadmap, the one thing that helps you from point A to point Z is a desire. And remember, that desire is always going to be tied to something that you have always believed that is your life's purpose. So once you can picture that future that you want, once you can picture that home where there is peace, once you can picture that business that is flourishing, once you can picture yourself standing in front of thousands or millions, doing whatever it is that you love to do best, once you can picture what it is that you want to see in the future, it now begins to position you in order for you to get from point A to point Z. Let me explain this further. There are several factors that have prevented many of us from becoming who we need to be, and I think it's important for us to really understand those. The first thing is your environment, the kinds of people that you surround yourself with. You see, too often you're an average of the group of friends or the environment in which you place yourself in. If you put yourself around people who think low, people who don't think far enough, who don't create great dreams of their future, it simply means that you are going to be the average of those kinds of people. That's why there's a saying that, friends for 20 years do not play together for that longer period of time. There was a quote by Michelangelo that I came across recently, and that quote was, and I'm going to paraphrase here. He said something to the effect that the problem is not that people cannot attain to the stars, or they cannot reach the highest heights. The problem is that too often we birth very low dreams and then we accomplish it. What is wrong with you dreaming big? You see, some of the greatest achievers that we know on earth are big time dreamers. They cast a vision of something that is big. I mean, can you imagine Jeff Kennedy stood before the United States and said, "We are going to put a man on the moon"? It's never been done before then. He said, "We are going to place a man on the moon." And it's craziness if you can think about it. There were the Wright brothers that said, we are going to create this equipment that flies. And today, those things that they consider to be Herculean dreams that they were able to picture and clearly articulate has become a common thing for us. I'm sure there was a time where somebody was dreaming of, being able to put a vessel that can cross the ocean without, it breaking. You can picture, somebody saying, I can be able to, create something called the internet where folks around the world can be able to connect all at once. You see, when these dreams were being discussed back then, they sounded crazy. They sounded like it made no sense. But you see, if those dreams, if those pictures were not seen, if those pictures were not articulated or communicated, today you and I would have been living a very backward life, or most likely somebody else would have taken credit by birthing some of these things that we talk about. So my question to you this day is, what is it that you want? What do you desire? If there was anything that, if it was impossible for you to be prevented or to be stopped from accomplishing any of your dreams in life, what kind of a life would you be living? What kind of a home would you live in? What kind of a family environment would you have? What kind of a business would you be running? What kind of a career would you be pursuing? What kind of a bank balance would you have in your account? What is it that you want? You see, because until you answer the question of desire, you have not begun to move from where you are. You need to answer the question of desire. Your desires will determine the responses that you get. As a matter of fact, the interesting thing about life is that the moment you're able to start articulating your desires, people who might be called, what some call destiny helpers, or people who might even know how to help you go from where you are to where you are talking about, will all of a sudden begin to recognize that, you know what, I think I know this person that might be of value to him. I know this person that might be of value to her. And then all of a sudden, that thing that was once a dream begins to become a reality. So, what is it that you want? What is it that you want? You see, because many of us have aspirations. We want to accomplish big things in life. But those dreams need to get to a point where they become crystal clear. You see, if you're able to clearly define, articulate what you desire, then if it is not what you want, you will not settle for it. Now let me give you an example. I used to have this terrible habit for a long time, and it kind of like got stuck on me. And I learned a very valuable lesson recently, that whenever people ask me, what do you want to eat? What do you want to eat? I'm just like, I don't care, whatever. Food is not that important to me. And that's true, it's really not. But recently I began to realize that my decision to say I really don't care causes people to put all kind of weird stuff in front of me. And then at that moment I'll realize, maybe this is not what I wanted. But what about if I had taken a minute to actually think about it and say, okay, you know what, I think I want to have like a bacon sandwich, or I want to have, a wrap or something, then it becomes more valuable. And then at that point, I am actually getting what it is that I desire, or what is it that I want. Now, why is this so critical? Because if you don't know what you want, whatever gets handed down to you is exactly what you deserve. Let me say that again. If you cannot articulate what you desire, if you cannot vividly see your destination, then whatever you end up with becomes what you deserve. So it is very, very important for you to get to that point of realizing that life will not give you what you desire except you clearly articulate it, you clearly see it, you clearly know it, and then you begin to walk your way from where you are to where you need to be. So remember that it is important for you to know what you want. It is important for you to be resolute about what you want. And that begins, you see, a lot of times we have this abstract concept of being able to articulate what we want. But let me give you a simple way you can start doing it. In every aspect and in every area of your life, begin to insist on what you want, meaning that you don't settle for anything less than what you desire. All right. So, for instance, if you go to a restaurant and you now want this, and they say, no, well, we can have that, you're beginning to learn how to compromise. And that is what happened to many of us in life, because people begin to tell you that, oh, you can't do that. And so then you begin to compromise to accept the things that they want you to accept. You see, you have to set a standard, and that standard will be determined by what you desire. So once you desire something and you're able to clearly define and articulate it, from that point on, you can now be able to put your foot down and say, yes, this is what I want, and that is what I am getting. I am not settling for that. If you are able to start developing that mental attitude, what happens is that you will naturally begin to express a desire for certain types of outcomes, meaning that things that you did not want will not be entering your hands anymore. Only the things that you want will begin to find their way into your hands. So I just want to just leave that thought with you, and I hope you spend some time to think about this very, very thoroughly. That in order for you to develop a strong positive mental attitude, you must be clear as to what it is that you desire. You must be unwilling to compromise on the things that you desire. You must be willing to work towards the things you desire, because at that point, once you're clear about what you desire, the how to get there will begin to work itself out. And then lastly, please make sure you take some time to write out the things that you desire, because being able to see it consistently is one way that will help you to stay encouraged, that will help you to stay focused, that will help you develop a depth of affirmation with the fact that this thing that I am pursuing, it's only a matter of time, it will come to full fruition. All right, so don't forget desire. What do you want? What is it that you want? You may not be there today, but you can begin by picturing it. You can begin by talking about it. You can begin by visualizing it as if you're already there. All right. Now, this is so critical. Until you're able to start clearly defining what it is that you desire, you will not be positioned for success. And no matter what industry, no matter what your desire is, until that desire is clearly articulated, understood, and accepted by you, other people around you may think you're crazy. They might not even think that you're making sense. In fact, they might even laugh at you. But life has shown us over and over again that some of the most successful people in life were probably laughed at one time or the other, but they never gave up on their dreams. Why? Because they knew exactly what it is that they wanted, and they did everything that was possible to ensure that that desire was not only a dream, but it became a reality. So thank you once again for joining me for another moment of Private Transformation Minutes. If you haven't connected with us, let me encourage you to do that right now. Go on Facebook and sign up so that you can be able to see the preceding series that I've done on this topic, and you'll also be able to connect to future materials that are coming out. Now, there are some that are posted out there that you might not be able to get access to without you first of all subscribing. So be sure to subscribe to Private Transformation Network. Be sure to subscribe to Dala Alfonso on Facebook. And then if you are trying to connect with me on social media, feel free to drop me a note at any point in time, and I will revert back to you at my earliest convenience. All right, so make sure you share this video so that other people can be able to benefit from it. Thank you once again, and I will look forward to being with you tomorrow as we discuss part 6 of this 30-part series on how to develop a strong, positive mental attitude. So God bless you and have a great day.